Yeah, British Apple is not as good as regular Apple. It seems like.
Like I don't mean to.
Give me the one American that doesn't understand how soccer works, and then I'll watch a British show.
Right, exactly.
Right. That's the one.
Episode 454 of the TV Dudes, recorded September 27th, 2023. Sex Education. This week, we're talking about the final season of Sex Education and the surprise success of One Piece on Netflix. Plus, we've got Star Trek Lower Decks for dessert. Before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick, the original TV dude, and I will show no favoritism to all the other ones. I don't care that you were actually doing it first. I was doing it when no one was listening, so who cares? Fuck you.
We somehow went back in time and stole Nick's idea, and he's on to us.
Man, I didn't think he was ever going to figure that one out.
I just want Ruby to run my campaign if we're having a favorite TV dude vote.
At the end, though, we're all going to wind up working together.
That's it. I decided that if Asa Butterfield can do it, I can do it. Otis can just fucking retroactively like, nope.
Oh man, I'm glad we don't do a video podcast because that way there's no possibility of any accidental weirdness. Like Otis had in front of the entire college. Patchy pube kid, is that what they call it?
Now that you mentioned it, I do have
Yikes.
a prepared PowerPoint for why the stats of oh no. That's unfortunate.
All right, let's jump into the TV Diaries.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
You don't want to talk about my junk some more?
I don't. I really don't.
Oh,
really deeply don't.
Hard no.
Okay.
Nick, you want to start? I think we got basically the same TV diary.
Do we? What a rare occurrence.
So odd.
You copied and pasted mine again, you fuck.
I retyped it this time to feel better.
We went to the theaters and watched Retirement Plan.
Yes, we did. That is a film.
That was in theaters.
It was in a theater.
Okay.
Shockingly enough.
Nicolas Cage is in it, and it is not good, despite what the trailer looks like. It looks like nobody but a father-in-law.
Me and Les alone in the theater, would just of every once in a while turn to each other, like an hour in, like, are they introducing another character?
Like, but at least they've picked another style of slam cut title to do it in. Yeah. In this movie, Nicolas Cage is a retired government assassin who lives off grid in the Caymans under an assumed name, and his daughter gets into some trouble, and or daughter and granddaughter, and so he ends up having to not just come out of retirement to protect them, but he doesn't really have any contact with them. The trailer of it is really funny looking, with a lot of like drunk, grizzled Nicolas Cage suddenly being a nobody style, like badass. It is slow and weird and bad, just bad. All the dialogue is truly terrible. Like Nick and I looked over at each other. Thank God it was about a minute before the first action sequence, but like we had a moment in the theater of like, so this movie needs a fight scene. I mean, like just one fucking anywhere. Yeah.
Don't let that get in the way. No, Les, don't get in the way of all the calling people on the phone we have to do in this movie.
There's also the 3 times we watched the granddaughter eat food. Yeah. In a real theater.
The granddaughter is kidnapped by Ron Perlman's gangster at one point, and they have
Ron
the best
Perlman steals this
relationship.
movie. Yes.
Like it's actually like a mini like, oh wait, here's your movie. Like excise all this other shit.
Ron Perlman just like creates his own little Savannah Smiles like mini movie inside of this thing that's worth watching, and it's 30 minutes of this maybe.
Let me ask the important question. How does this rank compared to all the terrible Nicolas Cage movies y'all made?
This would have been in the lower third of those.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was interesting coming out of this like, oh shit, we watched better ones of these straight to VOD.
It was like those but slower.
So like here's the weird thing. They released that to theaters, but they didn't release No One Will Save You, which was absolutely theater worthy.
Cough.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
I mean, if that theater was a film fest, yes, but that thing shouldn't have
Sure.
been wide released.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. We'll
Uh,
talk about that on the Patreon, I guess.
yeah. So me and Les kept up our Lawaganda thing we were working on with All Rise. I think we both independently watched a couple episodes.
It's got to be a better word than lawaganda, but yeah,
I don't know. We've been at it for 2 weeks now. We cannot come up with
no, that's what it is. That aspirational Mr. Smith goes to court.
courtship.
Court. Yeah, no, that sounds wrong.
No, don't like that.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
How about propagavel? Propagavel.
Propagavel?
Sure.
Throwing out propagavel.
Yeah.
It's not good.
God
It's
damn
not
it.
good.
No, I feel like the Vulcans would like that one more, but it's not funnier.
Put a PR team on
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
we also watched The Rookie. What man? We're watching a lot of The Rookie.
Oh man.
I am just waiting for like we're gonna tune in 1 week and it's gonna be like you're gonna be like, have you really considered how hard it is to be a cop?
Oh
Like,
my
God damn it! I got
God.
to you.
So
I know
No,
it's
you don't
gonna
have
happen.
to, man. The Rookie's doing it for you.
we started from season 5 episode because I showed him a thing on TikTok about like the
Yes,
Daddy
there's-
Cop song.
Oh no!
which is hilarious. The show has cold opens to die for. They really do.
Great cold open where like a garage band is watches Nathan Fillion arrest somebody on a traffic stop, and they just start singing at him of like cop cuties, cutin' on duty.
Like, yeah,
Wow.
they just start winging it, and every time
Wow.
Fillion turns around, they stop and like, sorry.
Sorry.
And then every time he turns back around, like 2, 3, 4.
His daddy cop walk and his daddy cop butt.
Yeah,
Because also
it's
everyone
hilarious.
on the show wants to fuck Nathan Fillion. Something
Everyone
it
in
feels
LA
like an
wants to
ego
fuck
thing
Nathan
for the
Fillion.
actor of like, does Nathan Fillion only do shows of like, is it the same in Castle? Does everyone want to fuck him on Castle?
If I found out that
Yeah.
there's a writer in Fillion's contract that someone every 3 episodes has to give him their phone number, I would believe you.
He gets so many phone numbers.
It's like finding out Vin Diesel can only lose X number of fights. Like it feels like
Yeah.
it's got to be in the writer somewhere. But anyway, we watched that at we watched like a season 5 episode, and
We watched
we've
2 of
watched
them,
a
and we were like,
bunch of
shit,
other
is this
cop
good?
shows, and the Rookie, like season 5 of the Rookie was head and shoulders above in terms of like bringing
Yeah.
up any kind of thorny issues and dealing with it.
And we
That's
watched
not to say
some of
it's
season
great,
1,
but
and that's not the case. And then Les
Ah.
did some digging of when exactly they
Yeah.
it was after George Floyd, and they hired on Michael B. Jordan's
Color of Change.
Color Change. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, they reached
PR
out, they
firm.
reached out and were like, so coming back post pandemic and George Floyd, we realized that simply bringing up thorny issues but then saying both sides of it is not the same as
Being progressive, actually
allyship.
progressive.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
and so
the Rookie
there
season
may
1
be
and
an
2
actual writing change reason why it
season
seems
1
to
and
get better.
2 comes off as very inconsistent. A lot of the characters have Jekyll and Hyde, like 2 characterizations they bounce between. Like Tim is a monster at some points, but then you kind of like Tim of like, it depends on the episode, I guess, of the hard ass training cop of like who puts racism in parts of his training officer test. What like was that part of the test? I guess you'll never know, Boot. Like, yeah, neither will those people you pulled over.
Right, neither will those 2 citizens or the body cam.
They just had a pretty
job, Tim.
unpleasant experience with the LAPD. I wonder why you have a relations issue.
Yeah, they've got like basically like an insane Vulcan, like by the book cop. Man,
Yeah, and
he's,
you know,
he's nuts.
cops are smart, criminals are stupid.
Every
Yeah,
single
all right.
it's not just criminals, literally everyone who's not an active duty police officer is dumb as balls.
Yeah, is a moron. Like,
Sean Ashmore's not bad. He plays their lawyer, the one lawyer in all of Los Angeles.
any revision like or like thing has to come from within inside the police department. They're even inconsistent on that though of like, oh, you can't really date like one of the first storylines is you can't date Nolan, like you 2 rookies can't date because it'll mark on your reputation. And then later in the season, in that same season, they'll go like, yeah, but you can only really date a cop. And I'm like, well, which fucking is it?
That character actually comes back with like, who the fuck is my dating pool? like, like, she doesn't say fuck, it's an ABC show. Though it is
yeah.
shockingly violent sometimes. They throw their budget at car crashes, and like you get this whiplash between Nathan Fillion being like a human puppy dog and then like him flipping a car, which they make a running joke about, like the motor pool hates him and will do him no favors because in the first season he flips or destroys like 3 cars.
He also
But yeah,
has
the
the
show
greatest,
really throws some money at some weird stunts, man.
he has the greatest 6 months and year of training as a rookie of like just everything happens to him.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And they treat his first killing of a person, like he shoots a person and kills them in self-defense and treats it like a big deal. And I'm just in the know of it. I'm like, yeah, but the next time you're going to do this, you're not going to treat it like a big deal. And there's 2 other rookies on the show that haven't killed anyone yet. And when they do, you're going to treat it like, and sure enough,
Within an episode.
they stop of like that person he killed's brother tries to attack him, and then the story is about that and them trying to hide their relationship or whatever,
Yeah.
and they
It
completely
moves on
forget about.
immediately.
And I'm like, dude, there's enough there of reconciling, even in a 100%, it was justified. It was self-defense. The guy was going to kill him. It is psychologically taxing to end a person's life. Like, you could just make the episode about that. That's fine.
Yeah. That's plenty. Yeah, it definitely has that Network USA 22 episode thing of like raise a crazy big issue, put it to bed at the end of 45 minutes, you know, and then move the fuck on. I mean, it does have connective tissue, but like, you know, you can see people's arcs on the show though. We're about to watch Allie Lartner exit, I believe. Harold Pirnew's on it for a while. Seth Green drops by. Fucking Pete Davidson shows up for an episode.
What the fuck?
Pete Davidson is his half brother.
Pete Davidson's his brother.
Wait, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson and
As
Nathan
Nathan Fillion's-
Fillion
Yeah.
adopted? Adopted?
No,
half-brother?
same
Same
dad.
dad.
Same dad.
No. Bullshit. I call bullshit.
Maybe look, Randy, we didn't see the mom. Maybe the mom looks really weird. Maybe there's just a female, like there's just Pete Davidson in a wig, and that he fucked that.
Right.
You know what? If they showed that, okay, fine.
And that's, and you know, he took very
cut
much
to-
after
it
his
needs
mom.
to cut to
And
a
I mean-
flashback of nuptials, and it's just Davidson in a wig
and I mean,
with
I mean-
Fillion.
20 minutes of Pete Davidson in a wig having G-rated TV appropriate sex with Nathan Fillion's dad, and then okay, you can
Which of
have
course
that.
would be played by
Otherwise,
Nathan
bullshit.
Fillion in a different colored wig.
In a different wig. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Why
Or
are we
not.
not watching that right now?
Fuck, I'm surprised we're not watching Fillion and Davidson sex tape right now. I don't know.
That
what
is
they
the
dress
most
up as.
That is the most interested I've ever been in the Rookie. By the way, that right there.
I'll
That's
watch-
the most interested.
I'll watch Pete
I've ever
Davidson
been.
fuck off wigs all day.
Oh man. Back in my day, didn't have enough Pete Davidsons.
I finished off, or sorry, go.
Not good.
I finished off Band of Brothers.
Yep.
Les actually watched the last couple of those with me, and I forgot how good that series is. It is truly, yeah.
It is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really comes to an interesting endpoint of like the war ends with the Battle of the Bulge, basically, is the final really hard fought thing, and then the rest of it is just kind of cleaning up and waiting for Germany to surrender. But
Yeah.
they find the camps, and I forgot this episode where they first find the concentration camps, and it hits in
Yeah,
a
it does.
way that, because I forget that I'm like, right, I always forget that there's these people have like these troops that are about to roll up on this camp have no concept of what they're walking into. They don't know what a concentration camp is.
They've not ever considered that these exist. Yeah.
Like they're asking the prisoners what is this? Like, and they have to just come to terms with the term death camp. And the Jewish guy that's translating has to tell them all, and I forgot about this, but the logistics of having thousands of people, there's nowhere to put them. So where do they
It's the only standing structure around.
that has the
with
infrastructure to
barracks.
support 1,000
Yeah.
people is the place and so they have to tell them like, hey, tell them, and he's like, sir, I can't
Man,
do
you
that.
tell
And he
them
just
turn the
breaks.
fuck around and go back into that camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I get it. Like, there's not, they can't go do the town. The town
It's
is
heartbreaking.
the town has like a couple hundred people. Like there's nowhere to fit them all in the town. And the but honestly, but also on the flip side, if I'm one of those prisoners, I'm like, motherfucker, shoot me.
Mm. But you're right. I'm never going back inside that
I
wall.
will
Fuck
sleep in
you.
the woods. I'm never going back in that fucking building
Right.
again.
I forgot how incredibly heartbreaking that whole scene is.
Well,
I
also
mean,
they
the whole
go
show is just exceptionally done.
they go back into town and they just start beating the shit like they are not really beating the shit out of the people, but they like start taking all their stuff like food.
There's no fuse.
And they're
They
like,
whoop the shit out of a baker like immediately.
oh
like,
yeah,
no,
and
man,
they
there's
point
no
a
way you
gun
didn't
in
know
his
that
head
was up
of
the road.
like, hey, you can't just take all my books. Like, shut the fuck up. Fuck you. This place was 3-5 miles down the road. You knew it was there. You complicit fuck.
Yep.
You know, like, it also, like, there's, like, and it's like, well, you know, we never saw, like, and you didn't ever wonder what that smell is? Fuck you. And, yeah, there's the disgust and the anger. It's just a great, really great episode. And then Tom Hardy dies in a fucking motorcade accident.
Yes.
Just, like, out of nowhere of, like, the war was over, and we're still losing men.
Like, I mean, just literally, like, we're watching the background of the scene going, oh my God, is that how Tom Hardy bites it in this? That's right. Fuck.
Yeah, James McAvoy also dies pretty early. He's one of the ones that just that whole show is just full of people and yeah, Michael Fassbender, I can like tell like, shit, I'm surprised he's not a bigger part in this. And then I hear his American accent and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Keep the camera on him for walking shots, but yeah, probably switch away from him when he opens his
Right.
mouth. His accent's weird.
You also watch The Pacific.
Yeah, I didn't finish the Pacifics though.
That cast is not as
I never
exciting.
did either. I watched the first like 2 episodes, and it's not that it's bad.
No.
It's not a bad show.
But it's immediately
It's just
it evokes Vietnam more. And
yeah,
there's
and compared to Band of Brothers, it's just not. It's not
well,
even in the same ballpark.
they don't have the same actor pool. Like
Yeah.
immediately
No.
one of the biggest names now is John Bernthal, and he fucking dies
Yeah.
in the first episode off
Yeah.
screen. They just find him
Yeah.
later with a fucking bullet in his back, and I was like, well,
Yep.
fuck. And then, my interest for watching this is immediately down, and it's just not. I don't know. It's not as it's not like Band of Brothers wasn't. I forgot Band of Brothers doesn't introduce the narration element until like 5 episodes in. They don't have like a narrator, like one of the characters narrate throughout the thing until 5 episodes in, and then kind of pretend like they all were always doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch some more Good Wife, Good Fight, mostly on Facebook. So you know, stripped out of any other whatever the other plot lines were. Watched John. Speaking of John Bernthal, I watched his little bit on Henry's Law, which we mentioned last week,
Harry's
but
Law.
didn't. Harry's Law?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Whatever dumb name it is. But
Harry.
she's a woman. So but her name is Harry.
It would be silly if it were Henry.
Uh,
Female lawyer.
yeah, and that show sucks.
Yeah. No. Kathy Bates can't even save that show. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah,
They
that's what I've heard.
have from actress from X and Pitch Perfect.
Brittany Snow.
Brittany Snow, and
is
don't
a
use her.
fucking is a assistant in that show, and she just pops in every once in a while. I'm like,
Goes
what
whole
the fuck?
episodes without them using Brittany Snow.
She's a
Yeah.
better actress than all the people you have for lawyers in here. Why is she not one of the lawyers?
Yeah.
The one thing worth watching on that show is Christopher McDonald. Is that his name? Christopher McDonald from
Sure. I mean,
And
I was just gonna
his-
say Shooter McGavin, but whatever. Like,
yeah, Shooter McGavin. Yeah,
'cause that is- he
he is the reason to watch the show. He is a basically Better Call Saul cranked up to an Ally McBeal level, and he's played by Shooter McGavin. He's the only reason to watch that show, and he is not the main thrust of it. He's never the A plot.
And I know I said like in Good Wife and Good Fight, they treat the district attorneys like they're evil. You know? Unless it's Peter, like the actual wife, then they're nuanced and whatever. But like,
Right.
but really, most of the time, it's Matan or the one other black lady that it's end up on She-Hulk, I think. And they're aggressive and will stick with a case even though it's so clear that the person is innocent, but they don't want to let go of the case. And like, Jesus, aren't you afraid of a mystery? They go to the point of like, why? I don't think. Yes, I think district attorneys are more concerned about closing cases than actually whether or not the person is innocent. But also, I feel like they would have a vested interest in not knowing that they'd be hurt on appeal if this keeps going. Not to mention all the dirty-handed tricks that they end up using. But Harry's Law, wow, the DA is a super villain. She is what's the actress that plays her less?
Jean Smart, that's right. No,
It's
like
Jean
we watched Jean Smart as an actual supervillain. Like she is like
Hmm.
full on, just like
Brings in the two cops
almost
of like
finger to the mouth, laughing like, haha.
brings in the
Sure,
two
I
cops
cheated,
on
but you
the
can't prove it.
investigation and is like, so I can't come unless everything is if I have something that's unfinished in my mind, I can't orgasm with my husband. And like it's just a weirdly inappropriate talk in her office. And it's like, so you go find me this murder weapon so I can come. And it's like,
Yeah, and
what
like
is
literally
happening?
magically after a year,
And then they
where they're
magically
letting
find this crowbar,
they
and the
yeah.
show doesn't. The show is like treats it like it's a big bomb, and it takes
Do
them forever for their like. I wonder if the cops planted that. You
they're still letting
think?
the defendant live in the house where the crime happened, like where that crime scene is in his house. He's living there still. It's been a year since the crime, and it's still like one room of his house is just still taped off.
It is
And
nice to
like
know that these shows can get significantly worse.
you're watching it going like, wow, most of them give no fucks about the law, but this one gives like double no fucks.
It
Yeah,
it makes
do
it makes
do not watch
She-Hulk
this and
look
think you
realistic and well thought out legally.
oh yeah, the writers of She-Hulk should not feel bad at all. Like this is from the same
Yeah, don't
creator as
worry
like
about it.
Boston Legal. Yeah,
Ah, man, we have no idea how to write a law show. Cool. Most law shows seem to have that problem and get along just fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, then we watched the movie The Lake. Do you remember that, Les? The fucking Korean movie I think we watched?
I do not remember this.
The the evil monster movie that like the lake monster that had a great looking monster, but it was weirdly dubbed and subbed.
Yes, no, the monster looked stunningly good, but the dub script was so bad. Yeah, where we kept flipping between it of like, that can't be what they meant to say. Oh wow,
We spent
okay,
most of the movie we tried to figure out is there a career to be made for writing the dub versions of movies? Like
like just
rather
not
than
way better, but,
watching
like,
this movie.
Yeah, yeah, can this? Because seriously, they just need a little shush. Because yeah, God, the monster design of that was great, and I wholly forgot that movie because the plot script is terrible.
Yeah. Would definitely not recommend. And then we watched an episode or two of Biker Mice from Mars.
Let's rock
And
and
ride.
Yes, Biker
Uh,
Mice from Mars was a late '90s or mid '90s, late '90s cartoon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of ripoff that we've talked about before. But Nacelle Company and I think Ryan Reynolds is a producer on it are bringing it back because that's what everybody's demanded. I can't even do it with a straight face. It's not.
I'm more of a Mighty Ducks animated series fan myself if we're doing Ninja Turtle knockoffs. But Biker Mice
both
was
Nick and I
complete-
did. Yeah, both Nick and I did watch some Biker Mice back in the day, and I have a couple of episodes. So we
kind of
watched a
thought
couple
someone
of
would do
Biker Mice
SWAT
episodes.
Cats before that, but
Or Street Shark something. But nope.
I'm not surprised no one did Street Sharks. Street Sharks is pretty painfully 90s.
So is SWAT Cats. But yeah, that show is super funny. Needs a theme song. Can't believe it doesn't have it. Like my brain fills
No
in a
lyrics.
theme song that does not
No
exist.
lyrics in the
Nothing.
theme. I was like the entire theme song. I'm like, but which one leads, Les?
Right. Who
Which
who
one does machines? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't even
I
know who's a
can't.
party dude.
They're all a little bit cool but rude. It makes it really
It's very
the
confusing.
honestly. I feel like the theme songwriters noticed the lack of characterization between the three leads of like, nah, it's not as clearly delineated as the Ninja Turtle brothers. Anyway, that's my TV Diaries.
Let's see. On top of that, I watched, of course, what No One Will Save You, which we'll discuss. Sex Education, some 30 Rock, Parks and Rec. Finished out the other Black Girl, which Randy looks like you finished out as
I
well.
did as well. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know where did you come down on? I wound up liking it, but I was really pissed by that ending.
I liked it. So they don't explain how that author made like
Nope.
I get that there's magic hair grease that's Stepford wife controlling people.
Sure, but where the fuck did it
Where
come
did it
from?
come from and how are they doing it? And
you know,
apparently in the book, it's like a big movement. Like there's
yeah,
like a corporate, like not corporate, but there's like some kind of big organization so that there are other black girls in like every city and every like
yeah.
you're
So
recruited.
I
And apparently the
assume,
book ends exactly the opposite of the show.
yeah, I
She
was gonna say, I assume the book
she caves
ends.
in the bathroom and takes the
Oh
hair grease.
shit! Oh
Holy
shit! That's
shit.
so messed up. That is so fucking dark.
Yeah.
Interesting that the show itself has then them trying to get like, "Oh, I like the original darker ending, and I think we should use that for
I
the
thought that
book."
was fun. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So the show. Here's my guess. They were thinking, oh, so season 2
Yes.
will explain the hair grease and will really go into
The
this large
organization.
organization
I think
while she
so.
takes it down. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. Give me a fucking ending.
Well,
Yeah.
Like,
I think in
No,
this day and age,
this
you
felt
shouldn't
like
be
a
going
setup
like,
for
"Well,
a
in
2.
season 2, we'll explain." Fuck
Nope.
you won't, though.
so here's the thing. That's where I came down. I was coming to the point of like, damn it, finish your stories. But I can't say that because I've already given a pass to 18 different things this year about no, it's okay. Like Spider-Verse. I wasn't mad at them. I wasn't mad at Fast 10. I cannot legitimately
I
be
was a
mad at
little
This
other
mad.
was
black
this
girl.
was coordinated. It's not a coincidence the best ones did it first and then left space for the shitty ones. Like
Yeah. It's like I was like,
Spider-Verse and
man,
Fast X did it first, and then everyone this summer decided, well, oh man, thank God they paved the way for non-endings this year because we ain't doing
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I was about to talk about it, and I'm like, oh fuck, that makes me such a hypocrite because I already gave the pass to all these other things
But yeah, they definitely felt set up for a season 2.
that I
I
don't want to
dug
watch.
it, but
Well,
yeah, I
also these
didn't
don't
like the
have
ending.
like a fucking 9 movies beforehand setting up the thing of
No,
like, well, we're definitely getting the ending off of it. Like there's no guarantee there's gonna be
yeah,
a season 2 of Other Black Girl.
No.
there's almost a guarantee there isn't going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to expect you're going to get a second season. Don't leave all your watchers hanging.
No.
Yeah, I I like this more and more as it went on. I was like, oh, this is kind of good. I'm glad I finished it. But when I got to that ending, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, oh well, now I feel like I wasted my
Because I'm
time.
just supposed to just assume that like they if I want an ending, I just have to assume well everything goes sunnily, it goes well for them. Like
Right.
like
Yeah.
they're coming back and taking them down, and like, well, we're seeing the very
Yeah.
start of that. I just have to assume it goes somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they
It
cliffhanger
was a bummer.
yeah, with the taking to Jesse and everything. It's kind of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I finished it out. I've definitely watched worse things. It reminds me of The Consultant of like, okay, that was
Yes.
cool, but where's my ending that explains the coolest part of it? Like the
Yeah.
gold skeleton magic's never explained in Consultant. Like the hair grease is never fucking explained in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watched the first episode of Still Up, which was an incredibly British sitcom. I the lines are sharp. Like there's some little fun jokes in the back and forth. It feels so by the numbers, old school sitcom setup that
Mhm.
it it feels so contrived of like they both have insomnia and they stay on the phone with each other all night. And I know we're supposed to believe that they've had insomnia forever. It's like there's just sleep aids everywhere and all the different stuff they've tried, but the vibe of it from the start is like, well, the show starts with a time clock and it's like 11 something at night, like 11:30 at night. You don't have insomnia yet. You're just still up. And
Yeah.
like, so when they're still up 4 hours later, they started a phone call at 11:30 at night and stayed on it until 4:30. You didn't not be able to go to sleep. You never even laid prone to try.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and the entire first episode has this whole like one of them is agoraphobic. One of the two, of course, these two people are gonna have a will they won't they?
Yeah.
Even though one of them's in a relationship. One of them's agoraphobic and won't leave his apartment, and has lied to his neighbor about being on a trip because he doesn't want to go to like a next door neighbor cat birthday party. Which it seems like he won't leave his apartment, so it seems like a moot point that he would have gone to the party anyway. But there's this entire very sitcom-y thing of him trying to get a pizza delivered
Mm-hmm.
without turning any lights on or letting anybody know. And like his window won't open and they need to shove the pizza through. Only the visual joke doesn't work because the gap is clearly big enough.
Well, also
And like, so they,
DoorDash exists, so
right. Like there's it,
you can just text
it
them to do anything you want. Like, leave it by the fucking window. So like, it's
right. The guy's like, I need to take a photo. Like I need to take a picture of you receiving the food. And like, no, you don't.
no, you don't.
No, you
No,
don't.
that's no.
But
Also, if anyone ever invites you to a cat birthday party, you're allowed to say no.
right. That's a serial killer thing. Like, honestly,
No
if you
matter
go and die, that's on you.
Or honestly,
yeah, you
report
always-
them because that's something's something criminal
Something's
is
wrong.
You're
Something's
you're
wrong.
always allowed to say no to that.
For the cat's sake, at least the SEC, like report them to them. Yeah, British Apple's not my apple for sure. Of course, watched. We didn't talk about it last week. I haven't watched it since then, but a couple episodes of Harry's Law. I want there to be more Brittany Snow and everything, but she's not in that show. Watched a couple more Boston Legal. That show is so 90s. It's insane. Early aughts, maybe.
It's early aughts, 2006 to like
Good
yeah.
Lord.
Ish.
Man, and there's something I appreciate that like a lot of women find James Spader really sexy. There's something wrong with him. Like if I found out that James Spader was a truly horrible person, so like I'd be like, yeah, no, I think we all saw it.
Yeah, we all
Like,
get that vibe.
Man, there's something off with him. It makes him compelling on screen, but I feel like he's insane. At least his character in Boston Legal is like the lawyer that you'd want on your side if you absolutely want to get out of this crime, but let's not pretend it's justice. Yeah. Plus
He is the
William
lawyer
Shatner's
equivalent
Denny
of
Crane.
you want a toe? I can get you a toe.
Oh yeah. Do we need a toe for the case? You know what? Less you know, the better. Yeah. Also watched a couple of episodes of Letterkenny. Went back and watched, of course, the golf course episode, Canada Gooses, taking Canada Deuces, and a couple of other episodes. And I fucking love that episode. It's maybe my pinnacle favorite Letterkenny single episode they did.
You got a problem with Canadian gooses. You got a problem with me, and I suggest
With
you let
me?
that one marinate.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just all of it. Yeah. And then yeah, man, we watched The Lake. I think that's about it.
All right. I watched the rest of One Piece, which Nick and I are going to talk about, and I watched my friend who I watch musical stuff with came over. We've been wanting to find time. We finally found time to watch the first half of Schmigadoon season 2, aka Schmicago. I know Les, that you and Nick have been waiting for me to talk about the show. I know what big Schmigadoon heads you are. It's your favorite show.
Well, so they're finally
And,
doing different types of musicals. You know, the thing they should have been doing episode to episode, but
you'll be happy to know is exactly the show that it was before, which is to say that I quite enjoy it. I think it's got a ton of cool references. Y'all would hate it. I'm glad you're not watching it with me. But it does incorporate Chicago as well as like Chorus Line, and in what is maybe the darkest, funniest thing, it mixes Annie and Sweeney Todd. So
Okay.
what?
Alan Cumming in this one is playing the Sweeney Todd type character who has lost his wife was murdered.
Damn it, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Supposedly by him, but it wasn't him. It was the evil magnate who runs the whole town, and as a result, he's lost his daughter, who is a showgirl, and they're estranged. And so he's running this butcher shop, and he's having trouble with he doesn't have a good meat supply. And next door to the butcher shop is an orphanage.
Oh no!
Run by Kristen Chenoweth, who is playing both the Mrs. whatever her name is from the Sweeney Todd, that role, but also what I think of as the Carol Burnett role from Annie. She is both characters, and she has a crush on the butcher. And in the 4th episode, they get together, and there's a song about how they're going to start killing the children to make them eat pots.
That's criminal. Because I know this sounds awesome, and I know it's in that piece of shit Schmigadoon.
Oh god, it's so fucking good. It is so funny.
I'm gonna
because
have to
they're
watch
all
that. I love Chenoweth too much.
The kids are delightfully singing along about how great it's gonna be. Oh man, it's beautiful.
Awesome.
I was watching with Morgan, and I'm looking over, and we're like, no, are they actually gonna do? Holy shit, they're gonna do this.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think that these guys know their musical theater. It's got a lot of great references, and it's been super fun. But that particular thing, I was like, wow, you guys are ballsy.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Not for us, but for you
Not for
probably
us, yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I watched the latest Ahsoka, which is finally, it's goddamn it's slow, but I'm enjoying it. The last episode got really good. I watched Only Murders in the Building, Penultimate Only Murders, which is fantastic. And is finally revealing in the same way the After Party like plays fair with its audience and is like hilariously funny, but it's also just a really good mystery. Only Murders is the same way. Like they're revealing who the killer might be. And I'm like, holy shit, that all makes sense. And if I go back and watch this, I know I'll see it.
Wow. Because like
And
I
they
don't
do
necessarily count on
feel
Only Murders for that. Like I feel like they've got leeway to be sillier if they want, you know.
yeah. But no, they're playing fair with their audience.
Oh
And
man,
they
because I feel
also
like watching some of them. I feel like you could pick anyone and make it fit if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
yeah, they did a really good job with it. And there is
Cool.
a
I'm a couple
there's a
behind.
lot of flashback episodes where they show a lot more Paul Rudd, so he gets more Paul Rudd, which is
Nice.
great.
Of course.
And then I kind of, because it popped in my memories, I've been kind of wanting to go back and rewatch Review, the Comedy Central show that is now on
Mhm.
Paramount Plus. I don't know if y'all have both seen this. It's Andy Daly's show. He plays cockeyed optimist Forrest McNeil, who is going to review life. And this could have been sort of silly and goofy, but instead it's like the darkest fucking comedy I've ever seen. And I forgot how early that happens. Like the first episode is I just watched it, and the first episode has him reviewing like a bank robber, the thrill of stealing, which leads to a bank robbery where his intern gets shot, and and oh, and yes, and then addiction, where he decides to try cocaine, and there's this hilarious bit where he basically he's like, I didn't like that. He's at a bar. He's like, and I tried some other things. I tried drinking alcoholic drinks, and I just made me sleepy. And he's like, well, I've tried alcohol, tried smoking, tried cocaine. There's just one thing I haven't tried: cocaine. and and then he gets asked to go to the prom and takes his babysitter, his 17-year-old babysitter prom, and it's going terribly until he buys cocaine and gives it to all the kids. And that's episode 1.
Oh shit.
my review for this prom was a 2 out of 5, but then we introduced cocaine and it really upped.
Really
Yeah,
took it up to
the
at least a
review.
7.
The second episode is him making a sex tape and then being a racist.
Oh my god.
And then the third episode is called Pancakes, Divorce, Pancakes. And he's asked to eat 15 pancakes, and they show exactly how awful that would be. Then he's asked to get a divorce. He has to divorce his wife, who he loves. And then he's so full of horror at what he's done. His producer reminds him, he's like, you told me never stop. This is very important. So he divorces his wife for the integrity of the show. And then the final question is someone's like, what's it like to eat 30 pancakes? This show is so fucking dark and so fucking funny.
Man, I
And
feel
I've
like the review for being a racist is going to be more uncomfortable than is on not being racist, but pretty more livable than
So-
you'd think.
Deeply afraid how far this is going to go, though.
at the end of it, he and his sidekick AJ Gibbs, cute girl who like is his very positive girl. He gives racism a half star, and she's like, Forrest. He's like, we had meetings about this. Nothing can get 0 stars. She's like, it's racism. I know, but it's half a star. It's delightful.
Also, I feel like that's not true. You can be a president and be racist. There's racism is not barring you from a good time, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's so great. Andy Daly is just
I may have to
kills it
give
on
that a
there.
shot. I knew
If
I thought I
y'all-
knew the premise of it, but I did not know it had like an ongoing plot.
Oh no, that's the thing. It's like it gets darker and darker. There's some stuff with his wife and his wife's dad, who's played by Fred Willard.
Oh shit. Okay.
And there's a lot of good guest stars in this. Like it is. Oh, and yes, I just one more thing. I did watch 4 episodes. The 4th episode, someone asked what's it like to sleep with a celebrity, and so he goes to tries to win a dinner with Ashley Tisdale from the High School Musicals, and outbids a dad trying to get his high school daughter to go have dinner with this woman, pays an obnoxious amount of money, and then tries to hit on Ashley Tisdale
Okay.
awkwardly at this dinner, and then is asked what it's like to be Batman.
Okay.
It's it is so weird and so funny and so dark. I definitely
Well,
recommend
hold
it.
on.
And I
My
think
both my parents are still alive, so let me rate
Right.
grief first.
What,
Yeah.
what do we have to
Let me
do to
rate
say?
parental grief.
yeah, yeah. It's fantastic, and I'm very much enjoying going back through it. So
Though this task was clearly more suited to a fraternity brother who had lost a bet than to a life reviewer, I prepared my stomach and my nerves for a very large breakfast.
The world record for pancakes eaten in one sitting is 73 pancakes. That is held by a Russian man whose life must be an unendurable hellscape of excruciating sadness.
all right, it's a good place to remind you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're going to talk about No One Will Save You on Hulu. Okay, let's have our main course. Let's talk about Sex Education, the fourth and final season.
So when I sat back down to this show, I absolutely love. I realized like, oh yeah, I love all these characters. Like I'm getting to hang out with friends again. I am actually
Yep.
glad that this is the last season because I feel like it's floundering a little bit with the party split into two countries
Did
for
you?
half of it. The new college. I really don't like Otis's whole I'm the original sex therapist plot.
Interesting. I really
Also,
like this season.
Eric being magically drawn back to the church. I have not finished the season out yet, but that's aggravating.
Oh, no, you'll be very happy with that. ending.
Okay. Because we're like when he's
Yeah.
I got to the part where he's like, well, we should use my incredibly woke school's fundraiser to fund a church that's almost certainly sending money back to Nigeria, where I would have been killed if I'd been caught out in my night out.
No, this
Like, there's no
it
fucking
has
way. If these kids won't go to Chick-fil-A, there's no way in hell they're supporting that church.
no, it has a killer payoff to all
Okay,
that.
cool.
I actually thought the way that they had the trans girl and Eric bonding over being Christians, and I like they have to keep that secret at their school. Like they're like, yeah, we can't talk to anybody about this shit. Like nobody understands us being gay and Christian. That is such a weird
Yeah, I
thing.
really don't.
And I thought I don't understand it either, but I thought that was interesting. And I thought they did a good job with it. And the payoff for that is great. I think I messaged you guys early in the week, and I'm like, man, I got such a busy week. I don't know if I have time to watch all this. I was full of shit. I burned through it in 2 days. I loved this season. I do think it's probably for the best that it's ending, but I could have watched another season after leaving where they left it. I do think it was a bummer that they split up Maeve and Otis, but I understand why they did it. They were kind of stuck in that place.
Yeah.
And I thought that all the new characters and this college and the sort of the like amping up the queer and trans content of it, I thought was a really good idea.
Yeah, I liked taking them to a new school.
I thought though when they first said like this place looks happy and queer, and I was
Really?
like, you came from a very queer high school, and then they
Not
go
like
inside,
this.
and I was like,
Not like this.
oh, never mind. No, this place is gay as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Though I have
Like-
not seen far enough. I feel like that there's got to be some kind of shoe drop of something on Abby, like
Without saying too much,
because
they
there's
do
been a
get into
couple of
Abby's
times
like
where the deaf friend has given like a side look of like, well, and Roman said offhand of like Abby only talks about positive things. Like,
yeah, they get into her talk.
Mean Girl still
get
Mean
into-
Girl still Mean Girl. Like she's still the top bitch in this school.
They get into her toxic positivity in the last couple episodes.
Okay.
And it's well done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering. I was like, there's got to be that she doesn't have to be the worst or anything, but like, there's got to be something.
No, but they pay that off.
Okay.
They pay everything off. Like
Okay.
I think they landed everything.
I'm enjoying it so far. This was the first season where I was like, we're into they're out of high school years of 70s show. Like
Yeah.
it's getting rocky. Like I don't know where this goes after
They-
this.
They also pay off Otis's whole weird. I mean, I understand where it comes from, but the weird like I invented this and you stole it from me. I'm like, dude, that is not what happened.
Not once ever made sense. Of like everybody saw you
Yeah.
come to the school this year, and they know they
Yeah.
went to a student sex therapist last year. So
That-
what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
That should be
Yeah.
taken care of in the first episode because it's so easy to like. Well, how long has she been doing this? Has she been doing
Yeah.
this before you did it? Then
Yeah.
you don't have a leg to stand on.
I really
Yeah.
wanted Ruby to come in and like, all right, I'll be your campaign manager. Drop that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'll be the mean one here. I watched all of Sex Education the first season. Really loved it. Watched 6, I think 4, like 5, 6 episodes of season 2 and fell off. Never went back to finish it. But really liked that season 2 and just kind of fell off. Didn't really know why I didn't finish it. Watched the first half. I watched half of season 3. and fell off, and I was like, "Eh." And then this season, I was like, I only watched the first episode and then parts of episode 2 with Les, but that first episode, I was like, "This is straight up bad." Not
Wow.
not
That
because of the plot, anything plot-wise, it's just I forgot that why do I like any of you again? The Otis comes off as kinda dickish, and then, the like, everyone I mean, I think I'm missing Orla, really. She was one of my preferred characters.
I get
Not
that.
Orla.
Yeah, is that their name, or is that the actress's name?
No, Orla's from Dairy Girls.
No,
No, it's
Orla.
Orla.
Yeah,
The Otis's girlfriend.
Ola.
Otis's girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, you said
Ola?
Orla.
Is it Ola? Is
Or
it not? It's not Orla?
It's
I thought it was
Orla. No, for sure. I'm almost positive it's Orla, if we
Nope.
wanna look this up.
It's not. I mean, hold on, I'll look it up, but it's not. It's
Huh.
close to that, but Orla's from
I-
Dairy Girls.
Jakob
I
and
thought-
Orla? Or
I thought it was Orla. It's the British. That was a British thing. Ola. He's right. It's Ola.
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 Uh,
Orla is from Dairy Girls. Ola is from Sex
So
Education.
you're
yeah.
missing a character that's not even in this show.
Yeah, I guess I missed it, like, well, I mean, there should be more Orla in every show,
No,
honestly.
I assume you're talking about Ola.
Shit, have
the
we
baby
finished Dairy
daddy's
Girls
daughter.
less? We should definitely finish that, or do anything
Yeah.
other than watch Sex Education.
See, I this was one of my favorite things I watched all year, and I actually thought they did a great job with.
I thought
the-
when he's showing his penis on the board, that's not how phones work. Like, it's forced and hack so that they can have the conversation, which is a good conversation about with the kid taking testosterone and is always horny. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, your penis
Yeah.
was definitely the least sexy thing I've seen, and yet I came to it. That's how horny I am. And it starts that conversation, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's actually a pretty good therapist. But this forced like goof, like I forgot, like, yeah, he's awkward and he's not good at public speaking, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I guess if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. But
Maybe I'm
to
just
me,
tired of this shtick.
to me, when you're doing comedy and you do something, I mean, it's not unlike Joyride and the reveal of the vag tattoo.
That was
It's-
built
it's-
up though.
Yeah, but it's still
That was
it's
no, but that was
high-
built up,
it's-
and they have a whole sequence building up to it to the pickup of the joke. He just shows his penis, and I expect there's a build up to it because
Yeah, there's a bit. From the time he had those on his phone, those are a ticking
but he's
bomb.
not. But also he doesn't send those messages. Those things don't get sent to Maeve. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
well, if he was texting
Yeah.
him at the time and they got sent to Maeve, maybe that's why
Yeah.
they're up on his phone under the first thing.
Yes,
But-
and I mean that's the thing. That was where he was at. But also, I mean, the thing is, like, it's goofy. It's meant to be the worst day in his life. In the same way that the vag tattoo and Joyride was like, oh, this is the worst. There's no
just
coming
feel
back
like-
from
well,
this.
I feel like
And I
the
think it
worst
works
day of
on
his
that.
life can be him, like, his normal thing is to not being talking good with people. And honestly, I was getting a little sick of that as well. And I'm like, the scene goes on forever and then just tops off on it's a penis.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't know. I had a very different reaction to this show. I also
also,
thought
is the sex therapist the other one that's working there? That the first one, or that is
Oh.
not Otis. Is she
Oh.
actually asexual?
yes,
Oh, interesting.
that is a big drop later in the season.
No, because he saw that big and it felt pulled out because her
Oh,
ass was like,
yeah.
she was getting pummeled in that debate and pulled
Yep.
asexuality out of
No.
her ass.
She pulled it out of
No.
her ass, and I was wondering if it's actually true or if that's
No,
something
it's-
she just said.
And that's the thing. Otis, they get trapped without saying too much. They get trapped in an elevator in in the final episode, the episode before, and Otis straight up asks her. He's like, "Are you even asexual, or just make that up for debate?" And she's like, "That is a
Okay.
fucked up thing."
I'm
to ask
actually
me."
glad somebody asked her about
Did
it.
she?
Though, 'cause
Did she say
seriously,
no
it felt
though?
very of the
Because that's a
moment.
fucked up thing
Yeah.
to ask me.
No,
Is
she
not
does.
is not a
She
denial.
does. Yes, she does say no, and then she clarifies this. A lot of her backstory has to do with her being embarrassed about being ace and learning that she was ace, and how that played into her being a sex therapist. She's like, I felt like I was lying to everyone. I think that the one thing that sex education does well, all these characters, even the ones you're supposed to hate, they all come around. Like Adam is and his
Oh,
dad.
I just straight up
his
love
dad,
Adam. He's great.
His dad, but Adam was a piece of shit.
Oh,
bully
he's
in the
terrible
first
in the first
season,
seasons. But
and
yeah.
his dad was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And they managed to bring them both around to a point where I really liked their resolution of their story in this. And I think that is what sex education does well. It is doing that. Everyone deserves forgiveness. Everyone deserves time to change, whether you're young or old. Because Jean, played by Gillian Anderson, is the same way. She's been narcissistic.
She's back
still
on her bullshit this
self-involved.
season, man. Yeah.
And they get to a point of like, oh no, I see where she got to this. I see why she was like this, and she's learned to be better. And I think that's what Sex Education does well. I also think every episode's funny. I like all the characters. I
I
love
suppose
how unapologetically queer it
It
is,
is
and
a
it's doing stuff.
it is since 8 level
No,
queer.
nobody is doing this kind of stuff around trans kids.
I
No
suppose
one is
that's
doing this kind of storytelling.
true that they let you know more about, like, especially Adam in the first season as well. But I would say that the first season, like, the first couple seasons were better about having at least a couple characters you liked rather than having to earn likingness of I don't know, Otis fucking pissed me off the whole episode. Like, Loki, I'm
I
like,
don't know, man.
"Why do you suck, Otis?" Like
Something set you off, but I could not disagree harder with you on this. I thought
Have
this
you
was a
met Otis?
fantastic season.
and
I
if like Maeve's gonna get hit on by that professor or whatever, and
No, not hit on by that professor. That dude is real gay.
that dude is super gay.
Oh, is
yeah,
he? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Dan
that dude
Levy.
is super gay.
He's so
Yeah.
gay.
But I will say, Dan Levy, I thought they underused him.
Okay, so
I
I really
thought
thought
Dan-
he was. I haven't finished out the season, but I really thought that he was going to steal that fucking thing from her and publish it
Yeah,
in the
me
New
too.
Yorker.
I thought that's what there was going to be, but instead,
But
that
what
whole
sucks
plot
about
line
Maeve is that because she's the
disappears.
only character that got siphoned off to that American school, she feels so excised from the show.
She comes back
Yeah.
pretty like
She comes back in like episode 3 or 4.
4, I
Okay.
think.
And
Yeah.
there's a reason for it, and it actually gives her a great arc with
Yeah, yeah.
Otis. But they needed her to be separated out for a little bit so that Otis could be kind of flailing. I think that's another reason.
And
for
I
that.
think that's what was hard for me is the season starts with Otis flailing, and then
Yeah.
Eric starts to like immediately clicks in with the school and finds direction.
Yeah.
I don't like his churchy direction because I'm definitely on Roman's side on that. But but
Yeah.
yeah, it was hard. It made this a hard one to roll back into. I found myself like most interested in like Jackson and Liv's storylines and the new kid whose
Yeah.
name I'm blanking on that's using the testosterone cream.
Yeah.
Like-
That's someone from previous seasons. That's Cal.
Cal, okay.
Cal was in the previous season as well,
Oh,
although
okay.
to an extent that I didn't remember them.
No,
But they were there.
I
was
believe
wondering
you that
because
they
I
were
was
there,
wondering
but I
like
don't
this
remember that
feels
kid.
like this like that there I should know this person, but again, I had not finished the I haven't finished a full season since season 1, I'm realizing right now.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean that explains why you didn't plug into it. This is the culmination of 3 seasons of work.
right.
But also, I think that one of my only knock on this, and I like again, I loved this season. I love this show. I'm sad to see it go, even though I think it's probably time for it. The one thing I'll say is I don't think they used their guest stars well because Gillian Anderson is really underused this season, and I know she's a player, she's the main character, but I feel like they underused her. And then they got in Hannah Gadsby
with her
and Dan Levy, and they're both really underused.
yeah, they really underused Dan Levy. Hannah Gadsby gets an absolutely insane chili oil bit.
And it goes nowhere. I don't know what that was there for.
No, like what? There's no repercussion from that other than
Nope.
just showing her
Nope.
in a weird opening. And that the corn ear of corn vibrator
Yeah.
that she has is insane.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just hilarious. Yeah, Gatsby almost steals her scene. Like she's fantastic.
She is. It's
cracks
just
me up.
they don't give her anything to do.
They don't give her anything to
give
do.
her a lot. Oh,
Uh,
I also really like the relationship with Amy and the guy in the wheelchair.
I still don't like
Um,
Isaac. I will never forgive him for the voicemail deleting thing. He pisses me
That's
off.
fair.
Well,
That's
he's
fair.
also he's also just despite that, he's kind of a
His-
prick. Like he's just
he always has that shell. Which
Yeah.
you know that I get as a characterization. Like that's I was like, why do I still feel like I should be mad at you? Oh, that's right. The show did walk me around on this, but I'm still mad.
Yeah.
I'm still mad.
Well, it turns out I have
Yeah.
a complete I have
And I love Amy. I love
a
Amy
sympathetic
so much.
backstory and reason for slapping you in the face every episode. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I still get slapped in the face.
The main thing that when I came back to this show where I was like, oh, that's right. Just like Bambi on Minx, I'm here for every fucking thing that comes out of Amy's mouth.
Woo, Amy
Yeah, yeah.
rules.
Amy's a delight.
Every
yeah.
insane thing that like when she says something like
Yeah, we
"That's
definitely agree
incredibly
on that.
like when they all have to stay in the after they pick up Maeve and everything, they all go to stay in a motel together.
Mhm.
And Amy's like getting into bed, and they're like, "Ames, what are you doing?" And she's like almost done with a little Slim Jim, but like
Yeah.
the fat little pepperoni like single serving
Yeah.
things. And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I always eat a pepperoni before bed." And like both of them are like, "Amy, that's disgusting. That's really weird.
I guess I miss
Just go,
the
"It's almost
simpler
done."
days.
I'm almost done. I'm like,
I miss the simpler days when the only thing I hated was Otis's mustache, and it was an easier fix.
yes.
Oh nope, there's no competition for the worst thing about you. I know what that is.
It's the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised, Nick. I came here prepared to talk how much I love sex education, so I'm kind of shocked. But people can decide which one of us is wrong, and it's Nick.
Well, I mean, now that the show's done, I assume the whole world is now sex educated, and
Yes, everything is solved.
we're done. Solved.
All right, let's talk about One Piece, which I did not expect to like.
And you're finished with it now.
I watched the whole thing, and not only did I watch the whole thing, if there was more, I would watch it immediately. Not only would I watch it immediately, I almost borderline watched an anime because I'm curious to see more of this.
I mean,
Like
don't
I'm not gonna.
don't do
I'm
that.
not gonna.
Wow.
But they
Don't
really
ruin this
wrote,
high for yourself.
they really wrote me into this world. I love these characters.
Man, so if you were to tell me like 3-4 years ago, when did the Cowboy Bebop thing come out? That
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop and One Piece were both going to get a live action adaptation, and it was like, okay, cool, yeah, One Piece is going to be heads far and away better than the Cowboy Bebop version. I'd be
Yeah,
like, what?
And I'm one of the people who like the Cowboy Bebop live action,
Mhm.
and even I can't deny that One Piece is so much better.
One Piece has this magical, like, it's like a Power Rangers episode shot like a Scorsese film or something.
Yes.
Like, everything is treated so seriously, and everyone looks so goddamn stupid. It's amazing.
So I heard that this is a thing that the VFX supervisor on One Piece is someone who did like plays and shit, and as a result, like someone it wasn't his, somebody who came from like plays, and so that's why a lot of it is practical effects. Like all those ships are built,
Oh, great. I thought they were
and
CGI
so
for sure.
I guess a lot of that, and that's why it has that sort of verisimilitude, is because
So,
there's a lot of
ah,
practical effects.
that I think that attributes because it also has a distinctive look. Like I think
It does.
one of the things I wasn't crazy about Cowboy Bebop is that it looked like Firefly or any generic
Sure.
sci-fi
Yeah.
and One Piece has a very distinctive
Well,
feel.
I think it has the look of the
One Piece,
manga, right? It's got that insane look.
yeah, even the bits that I've seen, and I've not watched much of it, but like it really makes sense that they built a lot of the volume on those sets, or built the rooms they were in, because yeah, it doesn't feel CG'd out. Like it feels
No,
like
it feels
feels like a
lived in.
stage production of Peter Pan or something.
But that crazy island restaurant that they show up to, that's a great location, and
Mhm.
I love the characters in there. Every time they add a character to the crew, I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. There's like they could do just the main three and I'd be fine. But every time they add a character, I'm like, no, I like this character too. I like everybody
Well,
they're adding
every
to
one of
this.
them is an insane weirdo of like
Yeah.
they're all, I love that I was watching a couple of them with Les and I was like, "Oh, Les, here's everyone else has had their follow you. No, this is the ship for psychotically following your dreams until they come true."
Yeah.
And Nami's
Yep.
about to have her thing because Nami's is the finale of like, "Oh,
Mhm.
don't worry, she just has to learn to follow her dreams psychotically to the detriment of anyone else around here." Like
Yep.
because this is the ship for people that are like decide a thing they want when they're a kid and then follow that thing with a single-minded drive that
Yeah.
would one might say is psychologically concerning, but wouldn't say
Yeah.
it to their face because you'll get cut in half or punched rubber band style or something. Like, no, I will be king of the pirates. No, I will be the best swordsman. No, I will be the best. Okay, everyone on the ship, calm down.
Nami's story was surprisingly effective. I'm like,
It
oh,
is.
yeah, it's really emotional and really difficult.
And it's not that different from the anime. They shorten things up and they combine things, but
Okay.
really it's like, oh shit. But I do think it works better than in the anime because it's not stretched out for over long. Like they keep it a secret of like, oh, she's gonna secretly betray them, which they play a little bit in this
Yeah.
version, but it's shorter and yeah, her making that deal with
Mhm.
and not a shark man because that's the easy way to go. We've seen
No,
shark.
fishman.
No, how about a swordfish man?
Yep.
Well, won't
Yep.
that look ridiculous? Yes.
Well, it's funny because I was talking about this early on, and I was like, okay, so there's the buy-in for this is really two things. There's like that there are these devil fruits that give people powers, and that there was a pirate king murdered, and therefore there's pirates everywhere. And then we get to like episodes 5 or 6. I'm like, oh, and also fishmen. Okay, so there's gonna be an insane buy-in. They're gonna keep adding shit.
Their inciting incident for why there are pirates is better than any Pirates of the Caribbean movie of like
Yep.
they're trying to snuff out a pirate problem by killing the
Yep.
biggest one.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh shit, you got
I
rid
could
of
see a Pirates of the
but
Caribbean
now you have
starting
100
like this.
little assholes.
Yeah. By the way, the reveal that the guy who killed the Pirate King is Luffy's grandfather, and how that all ties in is genius. I loved that.
It's great. Also, I love that it seems like those guys were friends. Like they had a
Yeah.
that they
It's not one of these. Nobody seems all bad or all good.
Well,
I mean, there are psychotic villains, but
even Luffy, who has a simple view of the world of he doesn't think in black and white. He's like when he meets the kid that wants to be a marine, and he's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And he's like, well, I want to be a pirate. Well, aren't pirate bad guys? And Luffy's just like, well, who says?
yeah,
And it's a weird. His childlike innocence kind of works for the level of like, well, I mean, I've met shithead Marines, so
Yeah.
why don't you just be a good Marine and I'll be a good pirate? And like, and Luffy calls it a day. It's like, oh, problem solved.
Well, it's funny because Luffy is like the Denny Rojas. He's this super optimistic, happy-go-lucky guy. But he's also got this weird, inspiring Captain America quality to him.
Everyone around him like is inspired. Like everyone kind of wants to follow their dreams with him. You know,
Like he pulls the whole "I could do this all day" shit multiple times. And the ending thing where he's throwing down with the big fish man and just is going to bring the whole thing around him, bring the whole place down around him. I'm like, man, that is he's got levels. He's not just this like optimistic goofball. He is also someone who's like it's got that Ted Lasso Captain America emanates that goodness.
There's a dichotomy there because I realize what he's doing at the end is like, well, I can't beat you. You have the like strong skin or whatever. But what I can do is take your dream away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I was like, and he's like, oh shit, Luffy, like, and that's kind of where he gets next level of like, oh, everything you work for on that, I'm taking it away from you. And I was like, shit.
It's kind of the worst thing he can do to someone because that's the thing that motivates him and his friends.
To him, there's nothing worse. And really Arlong has hurt Nami and is like, you shouldn't have fucked with my friend. Because now I'm gonna do worse than beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, he's gonna do the worst thing I can think what to do to you. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah. Anyway, it's great. I guess the writers have said they're ready to jump in on season 2.
Even the final episode ends with like Bugsy and that the chick from the beginning are in the same bar and like want to like, hey, you want to team up? Like, and I'm like, yes, more Bugsy and honestly more of all these guys. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really, really good. I am, and the fight scenes. We didn't even talk about how great all the fight scenes are.
Oh shit, the fights are really, especially with the with Zoro and Luffy team up.
Yes,
there's a great level of where they use the how a kid would use Mr. Fantastic's powers. Which is well, he just stretch and then launch himself like a rocket.
Yeah. That final battle with all the fishmen where it's Zoro and the chef guy, I can't remember his name.
Sanji.
And they're basically pulling a Legolas and Gimli competing over who can beat the most fishmen.
Yeah.
Is a spectacular fight scene.
Well, even Sanji's backstory with how he wants to become a chef with that other pirate is fucking hardcore.
It's dark.
God damn.
Yeah. No, this was great. So much better than I ever expected it to be. And I am excited for season 2. Hopefully we'll get it pretty quickly. Because I know they said they were raring to go once the strike was over. So
yeah. No, very excited.
All right. Let's have dessert. Let's talk about this week's Star Trek Lower Decks.
Hell yeah.
More
Orion wedding time.
Mistress of the Winter Constellations.
Oh man. I thought my crush on Tendi could not get any stronger. But it turns out that she, on top of being a cute science nerdy girl, is also a dominant assassin. Jesus fucking Christ, what are they doing to me?
Honestly, like, yeah, you can have Tendi all you want. I think me and Les are into Talin in a weird way.
Talin's great. Talin is so deadpan, it's amazing.
What's really great is that if you put her around humans, she's a normal. It's like Spock. Around humans, he seems like a normal Vulcan. As soon as he's around Vulcans, he's they're all like as soon as T'Lyn is around Vulcans,
Your
they're like,
outbursts will not be
her out-
tolerated, T'Lyn.
yes, she's clearly lost control.
Yeah, she's a loose cannon
She's a loose
for
cannon.
Vulcans. Honestly, T'Lyn is one of those things of what you want a new side character to be, and
Yeah.
that is they feel like they've been part of the cast the whole time.
Yes, that she fits right in. Yeah.
Yeah, it adds in a whole new dynamic. They can do and it's not like it's the same joke for all Vulcans or whatever, but it's funny every fucking time.
Yep.
Right.
Mariner's just like, oh shit, that boy's got a body, and then like T'Lyn's like, yes, he's aesthetically pleasing. Fuck it. God, it's always- also, the Tendi finally going to the Orion planet and getting her whole backstory. Like we've seen, like there's more to Tendi, but like
And she's
Mariner says,
mortified
like,
by it all. Yeah.
like,
Yes.
oh my god, this is more backstory than I've been able to drag out of you for like 3 years.
Parents, brothers.
And the Orion society and culture is like, I love that, and she's great at the deadly murder bug drinking game.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Why are you so good at the deadly murder bug drinking game? What? I don't
know.
know.
It's my first time.
Also, all I've got is my stink.
One of my friends online said that they're basically Lower Decks is doing for Orions what D Space Nine did for Ferengi.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
that's true. They're deepening them, and they're giving it a lot more than just being the pirates and the sex slaves.
Yeah, because
And
like,
it's
I think-
really interesting.
I mean, half of Orion lore is from I think the animated series. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Gorn. Like
We
they-
all
they've
know that
made
they made
these
up the
things cool.
pheromone thing. They had to explain why a captain would get fucked over by like
Oh my
5
God.
dancing girls.
Oh my god.
Actually,
them tying that into the pheromone thing of like, oh yeah, no, that I heard the pheromone thing was all made up by Starfleet and justifying some Kirk bullshit.
Yep. Yep.
actually, some of us can do that, but also it makes me question of like they're doing the whole marriage thing, but the pheromone thing makes me think, oh man, is the dude that's being married off here?
Is anybody here okay?
It shows him like oh, there's her carrying him off, like swinging him through the marital bed. I'm like, it looks like she's kidnapping him. From what I understand about this matriarchal society is everyone okay here?
Like, is this something Starfleet has to back away from? Where do we stand on this?
Oh, this is my mom, whatever her name is, and Bert. And like, yeah, bridal kidnappings are just part of culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that everybody's like talking about like rolling their eyes of like, oh my god, those are so passe. And like, no, the timing of it though, and like, oh, you're right. If it was a bridal kidnapping, it would have been 2 weeks ago.
No, they happen between save the dates and the invitations.
Yes.
Like this is too late.
Right. If this is a bridal kidnapping, it's gauche. It's way too late.
And then like Tendi being, of course, like arguing for Starfleet and wanting to do the nerdy science stuff. Like, but I don't want to be a cool kick-ass assassin. I want to study. I want to scan pulsars and
I think Mariner even says like, "Oh shit, you live in some fantasy crap like Billups."
I'm from a post-scarcity society, and this is impressing even me.
That's the line. Like,
Yeah.
I love that, and they even made a mention of like, why are you always so obsessed with scanning things in the side story with whatever nebula they're trying to scan, and is like, it's like, why are you always trying to scan to learn stuff? And I love that Star Trek is definitely the place where two captains of two opposing species can yell about can lay their dicks on the ground of like, no, you back off, no, you back off, and not for a territory, or for a prisoner exchange. It's to the opportunity to scan a nebula. It's for some nerdy shit.
I also love that the screaming other, like, they're not Klingons, but like the other alien is like, oh, we don't like Starfleet data. It's too granular, detailed.
Yes.
Full of nuance.
Oh, and let us not forget the side story with Rutherford and Boimler, or as they are now forever called to me, Brotherford. I was like, oh, I'm glad. After this episode, when they're roommates, you knew that the ship fanfics were gonna ship anyway, so you might as well like, yeah, let's just make our own ship name for them. Let's just get ahead of it. Rutherford.
God, what is the name of their bonsai tree? It's not Mr. Sticky. Mr. Pointy. Yeah, right. When he As soon as he picks it up, I was like, fuck, he's about to eat that. Oh, there we go. Chomp.
I also love that they try, because they're in a TV show, so they're trying to incorporate the thing they learned into the second act of the episode of like, oh, well, we learned how to conflict resolution by both dressing up as Mark Twain.
Oh god, I almost
Oh,
forgot.
man,
I almost forgot the
yes.
Twains.
God, that whole running thing.
A house
Yeah.
split in twain shall not stand.
Oh, that
And
dude,
then it's just like, wait, why was this supposed to work again? I don't know. We thought like
We
helped
did-
us.
it
don't
worked
have
for
these
us, and we
references
thought-
in our culture. That is a southern accent.
I'm from South Charzard. That is a southern accent. Ah!
Yeah. Yeah. This show is really just firing all cylinders right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, we get to see lower decks of the Orions this time, which is something we did
Yes.
not see before.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But we still don't know who the ship is.
Who's doing? Yeah. Who the ship
I'm gonna
is?
say my official guess is Peanut Hamper and Jeffrey
Agamus.
Combs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say his name all you want, Les. I'm not gonna call him anything but Jeffrey Combs.
I've been changing it each time to see if you notice.
I don't. You don't have to. I won't notice. I actively don't care.
TV Dudes fans can catch it, and it'll be a fun thing for them.
Right,
The
right.
obsessive TV Dude listeners.
It's like Thrakazog on Tick.
Yes, Susan.
Oh,
If they
I'm
wanted
not
me
even
to,
trying.
if they wanted me to remember his name, they should have given him a better name mathematically, like Peanut Hamper,
Peanut Hammer, which is mathematically perfect.
or they shouldn't have had him voiced by Jeffrey Combs.
Right. Because he's just Jeffrey Combs. Like if you told me
Oh.
Futurama style that just Jeffrey Combs' head in the future.
No, that's not Baby Yoda. That's Grogu. Okay, sure.
Sure.
I'm
Let the
sure I'll
child
call him
over
that.
there.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us this week. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Les.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. Reminder, you can go to patreon.com/tvdudes. Listen to us talk about this week, No One Will Save You, but we talk about all kinds of movies and other stuff. There's just hours and hours of content for just $1 a week. And until next time,
TV dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.